The lat pull down, possibly one of the best back exercises you could do. It's also one of the most scalable, but you gotta do it right. So I'm gonna show you how to do it, whether you're a beginner or advanced, to get the most out of every single repetition. And before you even grab a bar, it actually starts down here at the pad and setting up the right height. Because this pad actually creates the leverage that you need to give you that counterbalance to pull that extra weight down. As a matter of fact, if you don't have this set up, try to lift more than 75% of your body weight. Go ahead, I dare you. So how high should it be? Well, it can't be high enough that you have enough room to move your knees up and down. What you want is to be in contact with your knees, but enough room to have some heel lift off the ground, because that heel lift is gonna give you some give as the bar goes back up to the top on every rep. Without that give, if it's down too far and your foot is flat, you don't have the ability to extend into a deeper eccentric, and you're gonna want that. Now when it comes to your grip, it's actually gonna be determined a lot by the type of bar you use. If you use a V handle like this, of course you're gonna be forced into a more narrow grip. If you use a neutral bar like this, you're gonna be having a wider grip. That being said, most of you are gonna be doing it with a straight bar just like this, so how wide do you wanna go? You can find it by actually stepping yourself up to the bar and lining up your elbow underneath your wrist. Once you find that angle, that's gonna be your best natural pulling angle to be at. That's usually gonna happen right around the turn of the bar for most of us. If you go any narrower than that, you're gonna start to force more of the work to be done by the forearms and the muscles in the forearm. If you force your grip wider than that, you're gonna take the focus a little bit more away from the lats and put it more onto a muscle called the teres major. It's a lat helper, but again, it's the lats you're trying to build, so go for that perfect angle right here in line with the elbow and wrist. So now with your pad set and the grip right, where do you go from here? Well, we gotta talk about our torso angle, because this is where people screw it up. Are you supposed to be leaning back, or are you supposed to be upright? Well, it depends on what you're trying to hit. If you're trying to hit your lats, then you're gonna wanna be as upright as you possibly can be. Because remember, this is sort of a substitution for the pull-up that was too heavy for you to do, right? You're unweighting a portion of your body weight with this exercise. If you wanna shift the focus to your upper back, you're gonna be allowed to lean back more. So you pull the bar back more at an angle. If you're thinking more lats, then think about front pockets. In other words, try to tuck your elbows into your front pockets this way. And by doing that, I'm actually flaring my lats, but pulling more in that vertical direction. If I want to get more of that upper back or mid back, then think about elbows pulling back. They're gonna wind up flaring out a little bit, but that's fine because you wanna get that elbow back behind the body if you wanna optimize those middle scap, upper back pulling muscles, and even the rear delts. But it's not enough to know what angle to pull at. You also wanna know where you're pulling to. And the good news is, it's gonna be the same point, whether you're leaning back or doing it more upright. And that is to your upper chest. If you're gonna do this to hit your lats, guys, you're not gonna wanna lean back to open up the upper chest. You're gonna wanna open up the upper chest as you pull down. In other words, don't just bring the bar down towards you and sink in. Remember to attack that bar with your upper chest. Lift your sternum up as you pull down. That will effectively hit those lats. Again, getting those elbows tucked in front of your body. If you're trying to hit more of that upper back, then what you're gonna do is just do that lean back, but still target that upper chest. The reason why we do this is because opening up the rib cage is gonna allow the elbows to travel back behind the body more easily and to engage those back muscles a lot more effectively. So now you follow the steps and you got the bar to where it should be here on your chest, so you think you're good, right? Well, you're only half good, because the other half of the exercise is gonna dictate how effective the exercise is. Because this might be the most effective part of the exercise, and that is the return of the bar to the top. Because the eccentric portion of this lift is gonna apply that stretch to the lats. If you've done everything else right, that's gonna key some new muscle growth. But it all starts back here, having your knees anchored properly again under the pad. Because if you start to use momentum, or if your body's not anchored properly and you start to follow the bar back up, you're not creating the separation that you need between the origin and insertion of the lats to create that stretch. You're just allowing the hips to follow it. You gotta make sure you keep those 2 points as far apart as possible. Hips stay down, arm travels up, and as you get that stretch, go nice and slow, because the slower you go here, the more tension you apply, the better gains you're gonna see. Now, if you're more advanced and wanna squeeze a little bit more out of the exercise, you can do that too, and there's 2 ways to do it. The first thing I like you to do is just pause in that fully stretched position. We know from the recent work of Brad Schoenfeld that an applied tension in the stretch position is a good key stimulator for muscle growth. So at the end of the rep, I talked about how important the eccentric is. Hang out there for 1 or 2 seconds in a pause style, and then go back down into your next repetition. The next thing you can do is work your way to partial repetitions.